Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of 3 Live Canes. As always, I'm Chris. There's a box that says so. Over there is a box that says Bill. He's right up there. Soon, Steve-O will be right down there. Sorry for the late creation of the episode here on YouTube. I just forgot. No real good explanation for that. Just playing some video games and forgot what I was doing. So, no, but it's here. We're here. Happy to talk to you guys about another week in Miami Hurricanes football. Not a ton of stuff, obviously, but enough that it would give us an opportunity to get some stuff going on with CF Cane fan. Thank you for jumping in. We have Miami Pro Day results to talk about. CF Cane fan, I think that'll be the first thing we throw up on the board there. So your question will come up very closely. But also we had a running back commit, Javon Mallory, another guy that Bill described as, looks like a grown man out there, and he's going to hopefully provide an instant impact on a running game when he gets on campus in a couple of years. But, a lot of good stuff going on that we're excited about. Even with maybe a little bit of a negative in the pro day, we have to kind of figure our way through. But other than that, it's a good week to be a Miami Hurricane. Bill, how are we doing tonight?
We're big vibing. Actually quite a bit, right? Talk about this week, which is always good. Big time commit at running back. The pro day happening. Drafts. About a month away now. Yeah. So it's our favorite time of the year is draft season. So we'll obviously get into that as well. But excited for this week.
Yeah, it's a good week. It's and there's some other good stuff. I know Bill just reminded me of Brian Baldinger had some good comments to say about the Canes. We'll mention that too. But I know a lot to discuss here. We'll open up with the pro day. Make sure we leave a little bit for Steve-O to talk about it too, because I know this is the receiver position is definitely something right up his alley. We want to make sure we discuss that. But thank you guys for joining us here on 3 Live Canes.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
He's a stud, that Brown, number 98.
Urban's got it. Urban's free.
Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, but he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in big game.
Hard dog. Don't ask me for more. Hell no. Husker up to the races. That's what they needed.
That's Ricks going up for Thorpe, and it's intercepted near midfield. Sean Taylor's got another one.
Who else?
Who else but Sean? Who else but us here on to discuss Miami Hurricanes football? We have a great opportunity here at the Pro Day to talk about some great stuff going on with Miami. But, I think first we will kind of throw at what Brian Baldinger said over there on Twitter. In case you guys missed it, here, I'll pop it up for you guys in a second. In case you guys missed it, Brian Baldinger is a NFL analyst. I know he does a lot on Twitter right now. He does a lot of stuff where talks about, play style. He really focuses on the line position, which I think would make a lot of sense considering some of the stuff he's seen and said. But he brought up what he saw from the Canes when he stopped by spring practice. And this is what he said. A guy very well respected in NFL circles. I went to Mario Cristobal's practice on Tuesday. Most impressive practice I've seen any level in years. I believe in Mario. I believe in the Canes' power to UM. And throw a picture there of the guys. You see Judd there, some guys lined up, get ready for some football activities there with some pads on, at least some shoulder pads on. So good stuff to see. And it's just spring practice. It's just this, it's just that. But you get an old school guy, a guy that strapped it up back in the 80s, talking about liking what he's seeing at practice. I think you know what that means. That's guys getting after it. That's guys, trying to work for a common goal. That's guys, teamwork. That's communication. That's all the old school stuff, which Mario very much exemplifies in himself. So, not everything, but obviously it's good to see when you're looking at a team that, has a chance to do damage. You saw some of the teams that made playoffs and won games in the playoffs this past year. Like Miami is definitely putting themselves in a position to do that with the talent they have on the roster.
Yeah, he's, an objective voice. You kind of listed his credentials, but, he's not, I kind of was scrolling through some tweets, and I don't think he's one to, just kind of talk out of his butt, so to say. If he was at practice and, it wasn't what he expected, I wouldn't really expect to see a tweet like that, coming from him. It's spring, right? The guys that typically cover, right, the Miami beat, they're not going to report like the negative, but just to hear this positive from, kind of a third party, an unbiased source. You like to hear it. Does it mean anything big picture, long term, right? No, it's one spring practice, but for a guy that really knows football, inside and out, just good to see. And like him and Mario probably have very similar philosophies, so I'm sure that played a role in it as well. But it's a big spring, right? We've been talking about these young guys, needing to be developed, from these past few recruiting classes that have been top 5 or top 10. So it's good to see, good to hear, especially from an NFL guy.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things we can do right now is to keep adding talent. And some questions already popped up about recruiting, but obviously the big recruiting news this week was the addition of Javon Mallory, like we said before. A guy that knows how to run the rock, a guy solid, already 5'11", 200 pounds listed online. But, we're talking about a guy who's going to probably play, in that 220 range when he's at his peak, but quick, agile, strong. Like, he looks like a runner that will do some serious damage, and a lot of people are really excited about it. When he made his verbal commitment, he runs in a style that I deem to be like an NFL legit running back style. Like, sometimes you watch high school running back tape and you see guys that are just faster, just better athletes than everybody else in the field, which is great. But what happens when they got to actually put the pads down and like lay the boom? But this guy has no issue with that. Great balance as a runner too, able to, like I said, get his pad level low, make contact, break a tackle, get to the next level. So a guy that I think those little quick cuts in the hole like that, a guy that, not in terms of like, not early career version of this player, but he looks to me a lot like the Frank Gore we saw at Miami post injuries, like that guy, because the pre-injury Frank Gore was like a 1-of-1. But a guy that was super effective, quick in the hole, had all the instincts you wanted and the physicality. So, and obviously that guy had a pretty good NFL career. So that's just what he reminded me of my first watch of his film. But Phil, thoughts on Javon Mallory?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because that's exactly who D Money compared him to in terms of like running style on one of the pods. I don't remember if it was Monday or Tuesdays, but very just, like you said, pro approach. Again, probably 5'11", the 215, 220 range, by the time he gets here, right, through the weight or conditioning, strength and conditioning program. Him and this is a name that we've known about, for quite a bit. We know he was a high priority for this staff, who's done very, very well with running back evaluations. I think the recruiting services are a little bit behind here. 24/7 's got him as an 88 as a 3-star. He's a 90 on the composite, just outside the top 300, and number 22 running back in the country. This staff, I think they're gonna, we're gonna be shooting our shot for some, big time backs, but pair him with, pretty much, any other type of, 4-star or higher back. And again, that's just adding to this room that, has shown that, a lot of talent with, between Damian Martinez, Fletcher, Jordan Lyles seems to have next, Gerard Pringle's coming to town. You have some other young guys, and, now you're going to add, this just tough physical back that can, give you a little bit of explosiveness here and there as well.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for, especially in the age of running backs, where you're getting guys and you have like a 1 and a 2 and potentially even a 3 all getting in the rotation of it. You're not seeing the Willis days of a guy carrying the ball 280 times in a season. So you stack the stable up as much as you can. Hopefully you guys get a good amount of carries. And, honestly, I don't think guys are looking to run the rock 300 times in a college season anyway, because they're trying to get with exposure to get to the league and get there with as little wear and tear as possible to maybe get that second contract, with how the running back shift is starting to move a little bit more towards valuing them at a higher level. So, but a guy like this would hit with this is in 6 games. All the highlights you're seeing is over the course of the 6 games. Feels like this tape has been going on for 16 minutes.
And the more it plays, I know he was dealing with some injuries his junior year too. But just the more, this plays, it's like, this just screams like a Mario Cristobal type back. You saw him moving the pile there. You kind of just see him, extra effort. Just kind of a pure football player. I think that I was always a sucker for speed at running back. I was like, just get the fastest guy back there. But I think in this kind of new age of football where, it's very finesse and it's very hard to play defense and, you're not practicing tackling as much, to have a guy that could be 5'11", 220 and just, bulldozing you every play will wear it down. And, that'll lead to some big plays in and of itself.
Yeah, I heard a coach once say that it's really hard to practice for getting punched in the mouth over and over again. Like it's hard to prepare for that mentally or physically. And that's the kind of guy he is. Like he'll hit you in the mouth, but obviously with the quicks too, to not your game breaker, but we're talking quicks in the hole. The guy that can make those cuts to break a tackle before he even gets to the line of scrimmage when needed, like patience, vision, all that kind of stuff. Like to get you 5, 6, 7 yards. Like Frank Gore made his money for most of his career, taking what would possibly be a 1 yard gain or a 1 yard loss and getting you 6, getting you 7. Young Frank Gore back freshman year at the U was a guy that would get you 80 at a clip just for fun, right? But he learned that he was such a good overall natural running back, just a great player for the position, that he was able to adjust without the elite athleticism. And I think you have a guy here in Mallory who knows how to play the position at a super high level. So I'm very excited to see him come in. Obviously, you want to see all like the other things, but when you have the physical attributes and not afraid to run a hit and be physical, I mean, you're talking about a win, 100% of a win. And we'll see where the recruiting people go. I mean, obviously it's early that he's, making his verbal commit. So you never know how they'll treat that. And obviously it's a Miami commit, so we're not going to go crazy and bump it up like it was an SEC commit or anything like that. Or, it's just Miami.
I think he's going to blow up, right? Only 6 games as a junior. He's not super flashy, but I think once the pads go on, right, and August or September, whenever they kick off, if he's able to stay healthy his senior year, he may be one of those guys that just kind of has that slow rise, into that probably mid to high 4-star status. Probably maybe lacks that big time explosive attributes that the scouting services love, but I think he's gonna put up numbers at West Boca, so it should be a good time. Should be a good time for him. Bad time for defenses going against him.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes, but hopefully, I mean, it doesn't matter honestly. Like hopefully he gets a bump for his sake. Just cool to see, but we know the player that seems to be coming in. So excited to get him on campus for the 2026 season, which feels like forever away. Feels like a long time away. I know how fast this stuff goes, how fast the off seasons go. And just like it feels like it was just yesterday when people were crying about Cam Ward only playing the first half of a bowl game named after a breakfast pastry. But, we got to see him go out there wearing a U on himself, on his uniform again at the pro day and making some throws that I think when you saw some of the throws he made, like, I don't know if Bill, if you saw it, I'm sure you did because everyone saw it, but that rollout to the left where he flinged it like off balance, was it like 60 yards downfield and like that kind of stuff. And let me just go into this with, I love the draft. Love talking about, before we get there too, there was Johnny Lagoon and some other guy and CF Canefin mentioned about Flowers. I think he's going to do is take his time, be diligent with the process. So hopefully
I think he's announcing, I believe it's next Monday. Let me just see if they have it on that 24/7 or something. Throw it in the chat.
If it's official on 24/7, then we can, chat about it there. But
I don't know if they still do that countdown to commitment.
They're off season mode too. Who knows what they're doing?
But I think it's weird to be, still talking about a recruit for this class. I know it's kind of a little bit of a unique situation, but it seems like he's playing it pretty close to the vest. And I think just, off the, fact that we went so portal heavy with young guys, I don't know if we would necessarily kind of be all in from like an NIL standpoint on this one. But I think if I was, yes, 5 days. Okay, so thank you, CF King fan. So what's 5 days from now?
Yeah, Monday. You got it.
On Monday. So yeah, all right, yeah, I was right. I think I heard it on the D Money's pod. but I mean, there hasn't been a ton of buzz, right? He's very playing close to the vest, but I would wager probably elsewhere at this point. I think someone would kind of throw a very generous NIL package towards him, but we are the hometown team. Mario moves in silence, so I could be looking silly on Monday, but I would be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, I feel good about it just from the sense of even when he made some decisions along the way, it looked like it was a Miami thing. Anything can happen in the world of recruiting, especially at this point, because it is kind of a weird situation. There's a lot of hay in the barn already. Now all of a sudden, a hay shipment shows up, and it's all right, it's just how do you monetize? How do you value that? I guess every team will value it differently. There's definitely some teams that did less than us to improve their defensive backfield that are going to maybe make some interesting decisions with how they spend their money, but we'll see. Time will tell. But I
just don't want him at Florida.
I mean, he'd be out of there in a year anyway. So if he goes to Florida, he'd be right back on this show having a conversation about it.
If 24/7's accurate, we got the last visit.
I'll take it. And speaking of visits, how about a visit from our guy Steve-O?
Yeah.
Oh, and Steve-O with the gun show today too.
Yeah, my bad. I had I'm picking up, just training some little league jits around the city during the weekdays before you got to go on trips with Raw on weekends. So I'm a little late. My bad, y'all.
It's all right, Steve-O.
Thing sticking to me right now.
So, Steve, I thought you were going to apologize for going with the sleeveless shirt. I was like, I don't apologize for that. That's what the people came for.
We do it big out here. Y'all talking about J-Rock?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, that's an accurate report from Gabby. We getting the last visit. I like our chances there.
Steve, is there any team that you consider our biggest threat right now?
I mean, I ain't gonna tip hands. I just like where we at right now. I wouldn't say which of those schools that he's visited I fear mostly. I just think we're in a good position.
All right, I'll take that, Steve. I'll take that. Feels good. We also, here we go. Steve came here. Roll great on NFL Network.
Yes, sir. We'll be back at it. We're back at it this weekend in Dallas.
Steve, you got any TV time?
I get a little bit, but they focus mostly on. I be getting screenshots. They be sending it to me oh, I seen you, but not this week.
I got Steve. Well, maybe next. We wear your Christmas sweater, pajama pants, and maybe we'll get them next time.
They might think I'm a player. Some kids be out there wearing anything.
Fair enough.
Come on.
Fair enough. But one more thing, Steve. We did also talk about the commitment of Javon Mallory. I don't know if you have what your thoughts are on him real quick before we move on to the pro day stuff.
Yeah, I watched him run for 350 versus my little brother's team. We played with Ely. Mind you, this is a 11-0 Ely team. Lost this St. Thomas in the finals, bro. We could not tackle that boy, bro. We went for 345 yards, bro. We had 6 Division I signees on that defense, bro. That was not bro. Harlem, bro. Bug, we was deep, bro. Bro. We was deep. I mean, we had D line, bro. We had D1 D lineman. Shout out my boy Lloyd at Western Michigan, bro. We could not stop him, bro. We could not stop him. I'm talking about. I get there late to the game in West Boca. Where I'm walking up. I'm just seeing him skating down the sideline. I'm like, damn, already? And that was what it was all night, bro. All night. I waited in traffic just to come there and see them boys. Oh, yeah. I was a fan since that day. But he's been good. We've been knowing about him. But everybody likes to just, he plays at West Boca. He play at West Boca. Man, anybody on the schedule getting muddied, bro. He got speed, he got power, he got jump cuts, he got unquestionable athleticism and football talent, bro. He can catch the football. When you get guys like Jordan Lyle, Mark Fletcher, and then the next one, Mallory, these are the complete football running backs that go elsewhere and ball and makes us mad as Canes fans in 2 or 3 years when we see them doing on the highest level. Mallory's of that breed. I don't care what your feelings are about Derek Cooper, and obviously he's a big fish 5-star. You needed to lock in Mallory in this class. I'm sorry, bro. We're taking 2 running backs. You get the best one in the 5-6-1, and now you're fighting for the best one in the state. In my opinion, I can't name another 2 running backs better than Mallory, and I'm slow to say that Derek is better than Mallory. He's a two-way player and he's a great athlete. I'm sorry, bro. I've seen them both do it. It's just so hard, bro. They are the cream of the crop in South Florida. So I think that would definitely be the dream scenario. Lock in Mallory. He's a great kid. He's hard worker, one of the guys that played games that he didn't have to play. He played 6 games this year. Probably shouldn't have played even those 6. Still rushed for like 700 yards and 10 touchdowns. He sat out like 3 second halves of those 6 games too. Like, he's just a monster, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Steve, what do you like about him? Or you kind of laid every single thing that you have.
I'm sitting there, man. I'm seeing kids that I believe in get stiff to the ground, like kids that I rock with. That I'm picking them up from school. Let's go to the park, and I'm seeing this happen to them, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is not happening, bro. This is not happening." I'm seeing it. It's just like in real life. I just think he's an all-around running back. I like those type of players. I mean, you got to do everything. I mean, I love to get the speed merchants from South Florida for sure, but is Jordan Lyle a speed merchant? Is Mark Fletcher a speed merchant? They're just all around great backs. They do everything great. So I like to get those type of running backs from South Florida. Does Derek Cooper probably got a little bit more speed? Yeah, I would say so. He's an insane athlete. Every time I see him at Central Park training with Coach Allen, I'm like, yo, this kid is built different. Like, he need to wear a shirt in the park, bro. He finna have the mamas going crazy out there. Like, he's 17, chill. Like, yo, he is chiseled. Be having the mamas ready to catch a charge at the park, bro. He looks the part. He looks the part.
I mean, that's as good of a sales pitch as you're going to make about anybody, right? But
what they be asking, who's that? I'm telling you, they be going around because we in the middle of track field at Central Park here in Broward County. Those lights stay on. Those lights stay on. So people knowing who's time to train, they know we got to be on that field. And then the ladies be either doing rollerblades, walking around the track, blah blah blah. And they'd be asking, it'd be hilarious. I was like, yeah, ma'am, he's probably young enough to be your son, but yeah.
Ma'am. Just ma'am kind of sold it right there. Say ma'am. But I'm Mallory, like, is there anybody he reminds you of? I know that you don't usually like to make a lot of comparisons, but let me tell you what I said before. Just you could even evaluate what I thought. I thought he looked to me with like a lot of the little things he did, like the real subtle cuts inside, like making guys miss on the interior, like later Miami career Frank Gore. Not like the OG Frank, freshman Frank, who could, go 90 just by like waking up in the morning, take 190, but like later Frank, who was that like all around, could literally do everything for you. A guy that, made people miss, could run people over. The dude that went to the NFL and was that, I'll get you 7-8 every single time out there kind of guy. What do you think, Steve?
Frank Gore is not a bad comparison. I just
feels like you're about to say it's a bad comparison, Steve.
No. It's not a bad comparison because he could be that, but I don't know. Like, he's such a raw product when it comes to not both sides of the ball, but it's just when you get to college and you really focus in on that running back position, he already has a lot of just the stuff that you can't coach. When he's coached up to the epic, like of the elite of the position, I mean, I don't know, man. I never even thought of like a comparison to him because he could legit play receiver or DB, and he could play linebacker. He could literally play like anything. Wow. Like, I'm pretty sure he could throw. He could literally play anything. So I don't know if I have a comparison off the top. I would have to think about that. Hopefully, I'll drop a film review on him, and then I can give him a comparison.
I got you. See if Cane fan going old school with there you go, James Stewart, old school. Johnny Lagoon saying a better Cam Davis.
Yeah, I mean, if he's fast, but if he was just a step faster, I mean, dog, y'all got to start pulling out names like Bo Jack. I mean, I'm sorry, bro. You got to start. You ever seen this kid play? You got to start doing stuff like that. I mean, he's just the most athletic kid out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he could play baseball if he cared for it. Like, he could do it. Like, that's why they get the hype 5 stars. He's playing 7-on-7 with DEFCON. He's out there running routes, playing DB. I mean, you just see he's an athlete.
We have to switch up.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl, like the old, like I don't even know if Steven knows what we're talking about. Tecmo Bowl, Bo Jackson, but you know what I'm talking about, Steve-O?
I know Bo Jack. I know the highlights. They burned into my mind. I might not know the game, but I know he was going down that sideline sliding. And he wasn't catching them.
Steve-O, the greatest.
They say you can hear him running.
Steve-O, the best video game football player you've ever played with.
Michael Vick, easy. Ain't no, bro. You play with the Falcons growing up in Madden. Come on. Let's be real. Let's be real. You had Marshall
Vic to Peerless Price.
Michael Vick touched the ball, and that was before they gave like people tired. You had unlimited turbo back then. Like it was over. I'm running this way. Work done with the croc back, and now I'm coming up. Like, oh, hey, you ain't stopping Mike Vick unlimited turbo, bro. That's crazy. It's unstoppable. That's the best video game player.
My son beat me in Madden 25, and I just can't beat him because he's 8. And that's like his prime time spot to beat an old man in Madden. So
you gotta start bringing the blitz, man.
I can't.
Little kids fold, bro. They start getting too cute. They start doing the audibles. You guys talk some ish, man. I know he's your son or your kid, but you gotta let him know. Like, hey,
I promise you, Steve,
when we're playing. You're not my kid right now. When that clock hits 0, I love you.
I swear to you, me trash talking my son is not a problem. I wake up in the morning ready to trash talk him, but it's damn Ravens. Damn Zay Flowers kills me. Kills me with Zay Flowers.
Yeah, man, brutalizes me. That's tough. I mean, yeah, it's tough when you
out here yelling Broward at me.
Yeah, bro. You're using Lamar and Zay at one time, but you ain't got no hope, bro. You might have to switch your team, start reevaluating where you going at.
Well, that's
you need some South Florida DBs. You need some Broward DBs. You look up the Broncos, baby. Put P2 and do something. You need something.
My response was to boot up my computer where I have like an emulator on it to break out the old Madden and beat the Falcons with Mike Vick and just like annihilate him with Mike Vick. So that was my only thing. I just brought it up. Put up Madden 2004, just went to work.
If you put that, if he's still the Ravens playing with Lamar in 04, that's probably even worse for you.
Elvis Burback out there.
I would not introduce Endless Turbo to that boy.
Fair enough.
I would not.
Fair enough.
You're better off just trying your luck in 25. Man.
Just taking the loss. I'll just take the loss, move on. Play my daughter, so you beat her. But speaking of Endless Turbo, Steve, I know you brought a chance to see some of those throws that Cam Ward was making the other day at the pro day. Talk about a guy with endless arm talent, the guy that, everyone, when they watched him, if there was doubt about Cam Ward being the number 1 overall pick going into the pro day, seems like a lot of people were pretty set that he was going to be the number 1 overall pick coming out of the pro day. There was like multiple videos of the Tennessee coaching staff pounding around with him. They had 2 Tennessee cameramen on him at all times, like everything he did. So, I mean, that was a pretty good sign of things.
Like Tennessee GM answering questions. I'm like, yo, y'all just fired him and he's out here. Like, that's crazy. But I don't even know where to start. I don't care for the pro day. I just like that everybody had a clean day. He looks great. There's nothing that I saw in the IPF that made me go, oh my God, Cam Ward's the number 1 pick. I've been saying that like every Saturday for like the last like 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months. Like since I met the guy, he's been that guy. He was that guy before. So yeah, nothing from the pro day makes me go, he's the number 1 overall pick. I think everybody's doing their due diligence. The Browns, they're number 2, so they're in realistic striking range of trading up for that first pick. That would probably be worst case scenario, bro. I would hate for Cam to go to the Browns. If anybody could do it, it'd be Cam. But yeah, bro, come on, man. I know you give your toughest battles to your toughest soldiers, but let him sit that one out, fam. Let him sit that one out. I don't even want him sharing a locker room with Deshaun.
I think the only real question is if somebody, either the Browns or the Giants, want to make that move to go get him. But yeah, I don't think there's no doubt that he is the number 1 pick. It's just a matter of to who, not when.
I wish that the Jets would do something crazy, gonna make a move, but obviously
it's just gonna cost too much, bro. Yeah. Like if you're outside of 4, it's just too much, man. When a year where it's so clear who's the top quarterback, bro, it's so hard to trade up because you always got to give up an arm and a leg anyway for the number 1 overall pick. But when there's really just one quarterback worth it, bro, the price of the brick going up, like it's through the roof. I mean, them boys, they they need NIL deals and the NFL to pull that off. Like, it ain't gonna work. And it's been good. I've seen a lot of good passes in Green Chair. I caught a couple of practices this week.
Real quick, Steve-O, when was the first time you saw Cam throw in person? Like, what was your immediate impression?
It was such a beautiful ball. And I'm not just talking about him when I saw him in practice throwing, I mean, on air. Like, my first time seeing him like throw the ball like on a scripted 11 on, even 7 on, he threw this ball to Jacoby. And I'm talking about Jacoby ain't even break yet. I'm hit, and he just knew, bro. First off, great 1, 2, 3 by Jacoby, in and out of that, right, left, right. That thing, Jacoby turned around, bro. That thing would have knocked your head off, bro. That ball was there. That was my first ball I seen from him live action. Was like a curl route to Jacoby. DB bailed, snapped it down. That ball was out so quick. That's when I was like, oh yeah, he's a 5th-year guy. He seen that corner bail, and he knew exactly where that ball was going immediately. That ball was out so fast, bro. Defensive line, like, damn, man, I can't even pass rush. Like, that ball was out so fast. It was some mythical stuff over there. Definitely not to knock our quarterbacks now, but it's a step down from where I saw from Cam Ward. And the quarterbacks are doing their best. Luke Nichols learning on the fly. Emory Williams is, at this point you got to be the leader on the quarterback room right now. You're the oldest guy in the room. You got playing time. You got respect. You got fanfare. You got the coaching mindset. Like, you got to be that guy to step up right now. And I think the quarterback's doing good, but it's definitely a little fall off from what you see from Cam Ward. That's no disrespect to any quarterback, bro. Like, who the hell was expecting? Even if Carson Beck was out there throwing, they would have been comparing it to Cam Ward.
It's tough. It's tough to go up against a guy that to follow a guy like that. And speaking of the throws that he was making, something that everyone wants to hate on little things, because it's the internet's way is to hate on things. But that throw he made, which is, I was saying to Bill just as you were getting on, but the throw he made, you rolling out to his left, 60 yards in the air, like that whole thing where, like, that's like the pro day throw. And everyone's like, oh, Zach Wilson, Miami Dolphin legend, Zach Wilson made that throw at his pro day, blah, 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 all this stuff. And then
Cam did that pass in the game versus Louisville.
Yeah, someone posted, they were like, no. Like, this is the throw he makes. This is a Cam Ward, like, oh, I'll throw that in a game. Like, Zach Wilson would never, ever even throw a pick 10 yards downfield if he saw that route develop. But in a game,
if he was still on the Jets, but the Dolphins, he won't have that time. That ball got to be out in 2 seconds. He won't even have the chance.
Be that one of those slant interceptions.
Yeah, you better throw that slant flat corner. That's our concept, baby. You better get that ball out.
But so, like, Cam makes these throws.
Zach Wilson holding that ball.
Yeah, like, Cam has the ability to make these throws that Zach Wilson did in the actual football contest. So I don't know what the people are just wanted to throw negatives out there, but I mean, there were no negatives. He's just a guy that he's clean. He trusts himself. People love him. Like, there's never been a dude that's been around him that didn't say positive things about Cam Ward. So.
When you're at the top, it's just, you're all going to get all the hate, right? Even, thinking back, like, people are trying to nitpick Andrew Luck coming out. Yeah. I think it's just the nature of being the number one quarterback in the draft, right? You hear how great they are, and then it kind of, right after the season, it turns into, okay, what's their flaws? And, people try and, tear it down. But I think we all know. We all know how good he is, and where he's going to go. And I don't even know if that's really been a debate amongst those in the know in the NFL, throughout the whole process, right? The Mel Kipers of the world, they'll kind of debate it, but it's not really a debate, right?
Even they not debating it, which is like, which is like their job to low key try to make it a debate. But it's just so unanimous that he's the number one quarterback, and they kind of low key smearing Shador. I don't know where that came out. I'm pretty confident he's my number 2 quarterback of it, but it's definitely a wider gap than you could say a month ago before the combine. He didn't even go to do nothing at the combine, and that's when that thing started to go, really, because you had people that debate between Shador and Cam was alive. I would still take Cam, but I respected anybody who says Shador because I wasn't going to downplay him like he wasn't good. I mean, I watched plenty of Colorado games. He was throwing that thing. Can he do it in NFL? I don't know, but You know, it just really got to the point where it's no longer a debate. Like, you don't even have those guys like Todd Miche having a mock draft where Cam Ward's going number 2 and Shador's 1. Like, there's not one mock draft out there where Cam Ward's not being picked number 1. And I'm not a Tennessee fan, but that throwback Oilers jersey, I seen a post on Twitter today saying there's gonna that jersey's gonna do numbers in the streets. I'm like, hell yeah, that Oilers old school with the 1-1, yeah, that's doing numbers. Business is booming.
Especially because if he keeps the 1, that's what number Warren Moon wore with the Oilers. Yeah, that's gonna be
number he go. He's going number 1 overall, but just keep it. Just keep the thing going, bro. He's been 1 since Incarnate World. It's worked out well for him. I don't know if anybody has number 1 on the Titans. They're the number 1 overall pick. They're probably not even on the team anymore anyway. So
you looking it up?
Nah, it don't matter. You gotta go. And he better not have to pay for that jersey either, bro. Trying to get some of my dog signing bonus to get that jersey, man. You about to get cut if you don't give him that number. You about to get cut. If you got that 1 on, bro, you just go ahead and drop that stick, Cheyenne. Go ahead, bro. You're going to have to get up out that, man. You're going to have to rock that 11. That's you, fam. That's you.
That's good. Now you have to check and see if there's a dude who's wearing the 1. There is nobody. No one currently wearing.
There you go. Walk into it. Somebody was about to try to come up a bag, but nope. They've been tanking from Ward all year then. They ain't even letting the person wear number 1. Nah.
Yeah, let me see. Who on the roster could have maybe said they want to switch? You had running back Jabari Small from Tennessee. It was like, hey, can I get 1? No. Julius Chestnut from Sacred Heart University was like, hey, I'd like to switch to 1, coach. I'm like, you are not going to be doing that, son. You're not going to be doing it. But so Cam had a great day. Exactly what you want to see. Now, Steven, something else happened there that
you can ask about my dog.
I have to, Steve-O. Like I wanted to message you that day, but I was like, no,
it was.
I gotta keep it a pure question and pure reaction.
I just don't think he should have ran, man. He had the tweak, man. It's not a lot. He shouldn't have pushed through it, but he's feeling like, yo, I ain't running at the combine. People don't think I'm ducking it. Like, bro, I've seen him clocking 4.6s in my eyes. And that was years ago. Like, bro, I've never seen him run a 4.7, bro. And obviously his game speed is way faster than his clock-in speed, but he really shouldn't have ran, bro. But I get it. Like, when else am I going to run this 40? But that's a tough situation to be in. And you could even see on some of the routes he's easing up on some. And Cam's throwing him a little bit, so he's not going. So it's just like, that's tough, man. Because he's been training for it, and you get that tweak, you want to go for it, man. Everybody gonna say he's trying to make it up, bro. He shouldn't have ran it, in my opinion. But does it drop him in the draft a little bit? Anybody who was thinking of drafting him, if they cared about his 40 time, man, then just screw him. Because I mean, in my opinion, he's an easy second day pick. He shouldn't slip past the 3rd round, regardless of his 40 time, because it doesn't matter. Bro, it really doesn't matter.
We're talking about Restrepo, by the way, Johnny Lisbon.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough. And he's a guy who could tone stuff out, and he even responded, to some of it, obviously, because the whole nation is making memes and stuff like that and all that stuff. And I just hope he has his head up. Now it's time to go play ball. No one cares about what you do in shorts no more. You're about to get drafted, probably 2nd or 3rd round for sure. And then you'll be in mini camp, and they'll be writing about, oh my God, this guy we just drafted in the 1st round is getting cooked by this guy who ran a 4.7, and then we'll be back to normal, baby. So we got to just weather this storm. He's not lying about the injury, trying to make an excuse up. He's played injured at UM plenty of times. Canes fans know that. He tried to play versus Texas A&M with a broken foot in 2022. I mean, but it's tough. It's a tough situation to be, because I get both sides. Like, when else am I going to run this 40, bro? The narrative is going to be like, I don't even want to run this 40. Like, so you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Is what it is, bro. People are going to forget about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they watched him run routes, even with the noticeable, tightness to him, he was eating the routes up.
Yeah, I think the 40 has become much more of a fan media type event than an actual impact, right? And, it's a singular data point, that GMs and NFL teams use, in the big picture. But I think anyone with any football, IQ or acumen would say, "Oh, he ran a 4.8. Let me go watch and see if that translates." Just like if somebody runs a 4.2, they would go back and say, "Oh, let me see if he's actually plays that fast." So I actually don't think it's going to hurt at all. I think the NFL teams would certainly, if they do use the 40 times as kind of a major, evaluation, I think that they were smart enough to at least understand that he probably, or he was injured, running that. So, I think just kind of to Steve-O's point, probably shouldn't have done it if he wasn't feeling his best. But I get that he is a very competitive guy, competitive player. So he wanted to get out there and do it. But I still expect him to go day 2.
Just think about this. No matter what team drafts him in the second or third, he's going to start for that team. He's going to start. There's not much teams that are going to draft him if they have an established starting slot. They are drafting him to come in and be their starting slot receiver and punt returner immediately. Because the only thing they care about in NFL and punt return is do you not drop the ball. That's why Braxton Berrios is a punt return pro bowler. Besides that, he got a little jiggy on returns too. But that ball don't hit the turf, you're NFL's best friend. You can make a lot of money in a league, fair catch and stuff. So he's gonna be all right, man. He's gonna start regardless. I would be surprised if he doesn't have a plus 450 yard season easy as a rookie coming in. And there's teams. Not that I really know, but from the chatter, you hearing people around. Obviously, there's a lot of scout stuff. I think there's a lot of playoff teams that want that type of guy for their quarterbacks, bruh. Like, think about Josh Allen, Shakir. Does anybody care what Shakir's 40 time was? No, man. Following teams like the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. There's a lot of teams that want this steady option, somebody who's just going to always get open and catch the ball. One of the best catch rates in America, all 5 years of college. It'll be all right. He's going to start immediately whenever team drafts him. Do I want him to go to a certain team? I think there's some teams I'd rather him go to, but it's more about just offensive preference.
Yeah, and no matter what, right? Like, let's say hypothetically that there are enough teams that move him down their board to the point where he doesn't go on day 2 and he goes early on day 3, right? Let's just say hypothetically that's the case. The ability for a team that really wants him to go get him on day 3 is extremely high, because that's when the picks get moved quick, right? So that's when a team that knows exactly what they're doing wants to go make a move and get him is evident. Like, I know some people said the Titans, but
in the 3rd round, someone might trade up to get him.
It's right there. Like, someone, if he doesn't go day 2, my money would put he goes within the first 4 or 5 picks on day 3, because that's when the teams all line up their trades for the next day. So they're going to say, like, all right.
I don't think he falls out of the 3rd round. There's just no way you care that much about the 40. Like, you're going to be looking at Indeed in 6 months if you're that GM. If you care that much, you're going to be on Glassdoor looking for a job, fam. It's just really not that important. I mean, there's some teams I would rather him go to, like, a Rams team. I would love for them to pick him up. Obviously, they signed Devontae and they got Nakua, but Nakua is more of an outside guy. Devontae's in and out. I like him better on the outside. But a team like
losing Cooper Kupp, there's a certain opening.
Yeah, there's an opening there, and Devontae can still, fill
at certain positions, Steve-O.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but bro, the Rams is a perfect offense for a slot receiver, bro. And there's certain offenses that are slot heavy, like the Dolphins, but that's not the best fit for them. The Dolphins, you got to be super fast for the offense to work. 49ers would be really, really good for him as well because of what he does. They're trying to trade Ayuk, and he's one of the best blockers and physical receivers in the game. So those are the type of offense I would want him to go to. I wouldn't want him to go to a boring, just generic offense like the Jaguar. My bad, Bill, but like the Jaguars pick him.
They're running this. They're running the McVay offense now with Liam Cohen.
Oh, that's true. And I like Coleman. I wanted him to be an OC at Miami at one point when he was at Kentucky, and we were looking at him. So that's good. That's McVay tree.
Take it back.
Or like the Tampa Bay, where like Baker Mayfield will still throw him the ball even if he's covered. Like a quarterback like that and an offense like that, Chris Godwin will be coming off slow. You know, that type, like a team like that, like an offense like that, I think he can come in and just put in stupid work. Obviously, a team like the Chiefs would be just stupid if he went to the Chiefs. But there's certain offenses I want for Restrepo, just because he's a plug and play guy at so much different organizations.
Yeah, his opportunity going to be there for X. Like, we'll see what happens, but I think the end result is we know what kind of player he was. Like at the combine, watching the combine, and Tez Johnson goes out there at like 156, whatever he runs or was like weight wise, and runs a 4, 5, 8, something like that. And then during the gauntlet and all the other drills, he had the fastest miles per hour of anyone by a distance. Like some guys just go out there in actual football pads and they're fast. Now Restrepo had the injury and all that, but I mean, like best case scenario, still running 4.6, but you put him out there in football pads and he's going to look like a fast dude because he's going to be able to make those.
Yeah, the 40's all about your first 10 yards, their body lean, bro. Like it's not important, dog. It's not important. You will never see a wide receiver go for a route out of that stance. Never. You would never see it, even unless you get like Wilt Chamberlain film, like back in the day type film. But like even then, like
Michael Irvin, like freshman year, like
bro,
they
not running routes out of that stance, bro. You got a guy in front of them trying to stop you, like and cover you, bro. Like you got to have someone who could beat. Xavier Restrepo faced man 63% of the time, right? And them boys was getting murdered on tape. And then you go to zone and it's just so easy because he's just sitting in right where he needs to be at. I mean, he's gonna be all right, man. I think he'll be all right. Jacoby's gonna be okay. 4.5 was good for me for Jacoby. He plays way faster than that. He's just so smooth. So I'm hoping Jacoby, who had a great shrine, great combine, good pro day. I'm hoping they see him and say, hey, we put on maybe 5 more pounds realistically, and we move. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, that was practice, I believe Wednesday, maybe even Tuesday. The one hand, but Saturday at practice is when he had the over the shoulder one where you saw him go. That was nice. That one was nice. That was a terrible ball. I would have never mind. Let me not say that. That's aggressive. But yeah,
easy, Steve-O, easy.
Yeah, that terrible ball. I was pissed. I seen him run the route, and I thought he did a really good route. But Josh Moore has been balling well. That other catch, that everybody's talking about, the one-handed catch. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about one. He had to go over his shoulder on the corner route. He's looking this way. The ball was here. So great job adjusting, then driving, stretching for it. He's been making plays. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 against walk-ons, but he's also making them against the 2s and 3s. The freshmen are mixing it up. Amari doing really well. Chris Ewald is playing nickel, which I'm not surprised about that. He's one of the best pure cover corners in the nation. If you would know, if you listened to me for the last 3-4 years as he's been growing up. But yeah, it's a lot of guys. I'm excited about Josh Moore. I've been excited about him. But he's going to do that stuff early. He's going to flash, bombing people, mossing people. I mean, that's what he does as his continued development with the staff as a full receiver and a college player is just going to set him on a trajectory where it's just, Josh Moore, how far do you want to go? Then that's where you're going.
So we'll see what he's able to make do. There was a question really early from CFK and fan. I'll throw it up there again. Just like more like big picture. And this kind of goes in line with what Steve-O, you were just saying. Can someone answer why football puts so much emphasis on a 40-yard dash run in shorts when the player in games has 15 pounds of gear on? It'll be much slower. It doesn't get it.
As the game has gotten more technical, like there's a lot more skill in the positions that are supposed to be speedy. It's become less and less prevalent. Back then, when guys didn't really, it was just straight up speed. We were going to go. They weren't like there's Chad Johnson of the league. Now, most people are at least being able to replicate that type of stuff. Not his ability and footwork. That's what made him Chad. But people are getting out of those breaks in those times because they've been training doing that as they've gone up. The times have gone. Now they've they trained to look like Chad. Now there's a lot more of those, or Antonio Brown or this. So the speed and the 40-yard dash back then used to be so important because then you needed a fast guy to blow the top off.
Right.
But now you can get a guy who's so skilled and just destroy a DB at the line of scrimmage. Now your quarterback has all this room. You could throw it on top of him. You could fade him to the sideline, wherever you want to put that ball at QB1. Just put it out there. So, and then the fans still take the 40-yard dash. It's the funnest thing to watch in the combine. Let's be real. It is the funnest thing to watch. It's an adrenaline rush for 4, hopefully not 5 seconds in certain for certain positions. It's fun. But fans blow it up more. But GMs, they've made terrible picks from it. I think people have learned from that. And like what was his name? John Ross, the 4.22 guy, didn't really have a good career. He was like that at Washington. Not going to say he was just a speed guy, didn't do it, but it just didn't pan out. Yeah. And then you get a guy like Xavier Worthy with the 4.21, and it breaks the record. But let's be real, dog. That otherworldly speed is one good thing, but bro, he's just a good all-around receiver. He has great routes. He has great hands. He showed that at Texas. We knew he was good since he was a freshman. I mean, not to say we tried, but everybody named Mama tried to get him to go in the portal for some bag. Like after his freshman year at Texas, business was booming. But yeah, I don't think they put in as much emphasis on the 40 now that there's more different ways to go vertical. But back then, for sure, they cared. You had to be an Andre Johnson guy to get past the corner sitting at 10 yards.
I got you. And it's one of those things, like Bill said before, it's a data point that is easy to everybody knows the difference in terms of like you say someone's a 4.3 guy versus someone's a 4.5 guy. Every football fan knows 4.3 guy real fast, 4.5 receiver. Start to have questions. Like everybody knows those things, so it's easy for like any random person to throw it out there. It's a lot harder for people like Steve already mentioned a guy like Chad Johnson. It's a lot harder for someone to see a guy like Chad Johnson and say, "Oh, he's good because of this," because it is just like a technical thing that you have to understand the game at a higher level.
4.5 guy who terrorized the league for a decade.
Yeah, Chad coming out of Oregon State by way of all those things. Like
NFL Street 3 Chad with the golds on, baby. You ain't touching that.
Chad Johnson went in that draft after a dude named Fast Freddie Mitchell from UCLA, who wasn't 1/10 the receiver that Chad Johnson was. And
think about guys like my favorite receiver, Deshaun Jackson, bro. Blazing speed, otherworldly releases, bro. He was so small you couldn't touch him at the line. And great hands, great everything, bro. You just had to be an all-around perfect receiver. The speed is one thing, but if you don't have the other stuff, you're not going to be a consistent threat, man.
Yeah, I mean, look at great comparison there. Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne, two guys like Reggie Wayne was never, ever going to beat Santana Moss in a race. But Reggie Wayne had a lot of the skills that allowed him to be this Hall of Fame level receiver. Santana, great receiver, but a notch below that. It's just Reggie had, and he also had Peyton Manning, which didn't hurt. But like he had a lot of those transferable skills.
Let's not forget where Santana played, but
we'll throw that in there. The New York Football Jet for a minute there, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, all that stuff kind of shakes out, and Restrepo, no matter where he goes, he'll be fine. Like, I don't know how. Like, what do you think he would do if he went to Tennessee? Do you feel like Tennessee would be a good fit in terms of offense?
I mean, if he goes with Cam Ward, Cam knows he's going to throw him the damn ball. Forget that 450. That's going 1450. he might be a triple crown if he go to the Titans. But I would love to see that. Obviously, you'd love to see a quarterback have some say in their weapons. Outside of Calvin Ridley, baller. He can play slot and outside. You don't really got no pure slot over there that just makes you feel like, hey, you could give Cam Ward a security blanket. You know what I'm saying? Even in the NFL, they call more the slot, the number one receivers, obviously getting more and more into the slot. It's just a lot easier. Or you're a big tight end. And I don't really think the Tennessee Titans have either of those options right now. So I wouldn't doubt it to see them get a plug-and-play guy at slot, and then maybe, I wouldn't doubt. I think the Tennessee Titans have a high chance of drafting either Restrepo or Arroyo, to be honest with you. Whatever they wanted to put. But I think they just need a big tight end, and they need a slot. They're both needs, and you might go with somebody like Arroyo's a first-round talent. Everybody knows that. So if he falls to you in a second, Cam Ward he's gonna run to that podium for the commissioner.
How about this? Let's make a deal right now. Right now, if the Titans go Ward 1, Arroyo second round, Restrepo third round, the three of us get Oilers throwback jerseys, one for each guy. We just wear them right after that. We just order them.
Not happening, but sure.
What do you want, Restrepo?
I'll take X for sure. I'll take the 7.
Bill,
Anybody got 7 on Tennessee? They getting out of that.
I'd take Arroyo.
Take Arroyo. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. No 7s. No
it's
7s.
destiny. It's destiny.
Is there an 80? Let's see.
Steve, how does Calvin Russell?
Bryce Oliver wears 80, but I mean Arroyo can get a cool number now.
My bad, Ian Coleman, but Gump is a totally different receiver from Josh Moore. They're big and tall and stupid athletic. CJ is crazy in basketball, but CJ is so much skinnier than Josh Moore. He's more of a finesse, great skill, long strider, stuff like that. Just a little different. There's probably the same height, 6'5". That's probably the only thing similar with them. CJ's skinny. Josh Moore is more put together.
All right, guys, it's another long show. It's somehow going over an hour talking about no actual football being played, and it's a miraculous how we're able to do that. But we're just having fun, guys. We're just out here having a good old time. But that'll do it for us here on a Wednesday night. Another great week to talk Miami Hurricanes football. Getting closer and closer to the draft, which we'll do a full-on draft preview show when we get close to that, because we talk about the draft every week now, but it's fun.
Think about that. Like, I watched the first round. Everybody's a football fan, watches the first round, but watching it this year, like expecting your quarterback to go number 1, bro, like I've never had this feeling in my life, yo. Like, I really have not. Like, the best I've had on draft day as a Canes fan was when Eric Flowers went like 9 to the Giants, and then like the Colts traded up to get like Philip Dorsett in the back end of the round. That was like my dream. Like, oh my God, we had 2 first rounds. Like, I'm number 1. That's crazy. That doesn't come around often. Enjoy it, Canes fans. Don't let anybody else tell you anything different. That's special to go out there and see Cam Ward throw it at you and shake the worst commissioner in the professional sport hands.
Yeah, like Steve-O, you weren't born the last time Miami had a number 1 overall pick. A lot of fans probably watching this show weren't born last time Miami had a number 1 overall pick. It doesn't happen often. It's
hard.
Yeah, it's hard to get a player at a premium position to go to that level. So excited to see it happen. Enjoy it for sure. And if someone like Abdul Carter or whatever goes number 1 and be mad, pray doesn't go to the Browns. Pray the Jets trade up.
I mean,
You shouldn't hope for him to go to the Jets.
It's the NFL draft. If there was any position that could happen, it has to be pass rusher. It'd have to be, but just not this year, bro. It'd be totally. If last year, yeah, that could have happened last year with the crop of quarterbacks for sure, but not this year, man. I'm sorry, Abdul Carter, a freak on the edge. I've watched a couple Penn State games. I watched that SMU game, and I was like, oh my God, anybody watching this tape? Anybody watching this tape is asking who the heck is him? And not to jock on PSU, but whoever wears 11 for them on defense is usually pretty good. So he looked the part.
the next guy to wear they call it the sticks. Next guy to wear the 11 is for Penn State. I'm gonna make Bill feel. Oh, Bill, do you know? No, it's LeVar Arrington Jr.
I thought because we were interested in Durant. He picked
Durant's good too. I wanted him bad at Orlando. Coach Ish almost had that one for us. So it wasn't his fault. We would have been here.
Sorry, we got some pass rushers that'll hopefully be up in that conversation very soon too. But that'll do it for us. Before we get out of here, Bill, final thoughts for the people.
Yeah, I mean, we may have some recruiting news next week, which will be fun, and then we only have 2 more shows, and then the spring game is that Saturday, April 12th. So real football, kind of, sort of.
Kind of real football. Love to see
Almost
it.
There.
Steve, final thoughts for the people. Oh, sorry, Bill. What?
I'm done. I said I'm done.
Steve, final thoughts for the people.
I don't know what he was trying to set up for that one, but good. Enjoy. Listen to the tea leaves. People are going to say this about practice. People are going to say that. Just watch the spring game. Enjoy. And that's it, really. Just stay healthy, y'all, and enjoy your time. And as we get closer and closer to this draft, we'll probably cover that a little bit. But it's a nice time. There's definitely some recruiting news. Multiple people are in position to maybe make that decision to be a Cane. So, yeah, I would say it's a great time to just tune in for recruiting. It's once spring football is over and Coach Mario doesn't even have to show up to practice and he's just at these kids' door at 4 a.m. It's gonna be great. But yeah, I think there's about 2 kids I would be looking at right there. You could probably check out the bank. D Money is always on point with that. But there's definitely some kids that are seeing the green and orange in their future. I mean, you knew we were going to capitalize off a 10-year win, Heisman quarterback level year, number 1 overall pick. You knew we were going to capitalize on it. I mean, we went 5-7 and had a top 5 class. You knew it's coming. You know it's coming.
That's what we like to see. That's what we like to hear. But anyway, thank you to you guys. Thank you for everyone that jumped in the chat. Oh, here we go. We got last minute question from Johnny Lagoon.
That's a hard question. Who is the best receiver in deep? J-Rock just transferred to 25 or reclassified, so that would have been my answer. Jalen is too far up north. He's in Central Florida. So, South Florida for 26. He's not really a known recruit. I like him. So, there's Justice Fitzpatrick, who is really, really good. And then you got Jeremiah Douglas over there. That's not getting the hype. That is like that. So that's my favorite DB, to be honest. And he covers the number 1 receivers at St. Thomas. So I would say my boy. And then at receiver, it's tough. You could either go J-Rock or even oh, that's tough, man. It's so tough for receiver at 26. So you can go J-Rock. Damn. Who else would I go without that? And Denarius, that's so crazy. They're on the same team. That's crazy. Denarius Gray, the Auburn commit. Oh my God, we got to be after him till the day he move in up there in Alabama. There's no way we don't go after him. I would say a toss up between those two, man. There's some real good ones, but I don't know, man. That's what I would go. Do I put Calvin up there? Yeah, he's up there. I don't know. J-Rock got. I don't know. That's a tough decision. It's a lot easier for me in 2026 for DB than it is at receiver. There's a top tier echelon at receiver in 2026 that's not as strong in 26 for DB. 27s down here. It's for DB. There's about to be a masterful class. We don't land some of these 27s. Yo, it's gonna be crazy.
All right, good stuff, Steve. Luckily, we have plenty of time to go more into those. And who knows? You never know. Like you said, there's a couple names that are looking to be orange, make that orange and green commitment here in the near future. Great. Maybe one dude for 2025 who could actually sign his name on some papers. That'd be something we talk about next week, no matter how it goes for us. But that'll do it for us here. Thank you guys for jumping in the chat and being so productive in your conversations. We appreciate you guys as always. Thank you to Bill and Steve-O for having wonderful conversation as always. Thank you to guys at CanesInSight for allowing us to do this here on the channel. So for Bill and Steve-O, I am Chris. We will see you again next week right here on 3 Live Canes. Everybody have a good week.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska. He's a stud, that Brown, number 98. Urban's got it. Urban's free. Slips to the outside, tries to stiff arm, but he couldn't get by Ray Lewis.
Big time players. Step up in the big game.